Welcome to the Explainer. In our always on world, there's one word you hear all the time: burnout. But what is it really? Well, today we're going to get past that buzzword. We're diving straight into the science to figure out what causes it, why it's happening, and most importantly, what on earth we can do about it. You know that feeling, right? That Sunday night dread, the exhaustion that sleep just doesn't seem to fix. If you've ever felt that persistent drain, you know, it's so much more than just being tired. It's that deep, bone-weary feeling that a whole weekend off can't even touch. It's like you're just emotionally and mentally spent.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you draw the line between just having a tough week and being in a chronic state of burnout? Okay, let's dive into that and find out what the research says makes all the difference. First things first, we need a really clear definition. Because you can't solve a problem if you don't know exactly what you're looking at. And this isn't just about feeling stressed. It is a specific syndrome that researchers have been studying for decades. So, according to pioneering researchers like Christina Maslach, burnout isn't just a single feeling. It's actually recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon. Basically, it's the result of chronic workplace stress that hasn't been managed successfully. And it's defined by three very distinct interconnected parts.
So here's the thing. These three dimensions, exhaustion, cynicism, and inefficacy, they don't exist in a vacuum. Nope. They actually feed off each other in this really nasty cycle. Think about it. The deep exhaustion makes you pull back, you start to detach, and that's where the cynicism kicks in. And of course, when you're exhausted, on cynical, how can you possibly feel like you're doing a good job? You can't. That feeling of inefficacy just makes the exhaustion worse, and the whole thing just spirals downwards.
So, why does this even happen? There's this persistent myth that burnout is some kind of personal failing, that maybe you just couldn't handle the pressure. But the science, it points to a very different cause. It's not about you, it's about your environment. This quote right here just captures the crucial shift in thinking that we all need to make. Burnout isn't a problem with the worker, it's a problem with the workplace. It's a really predictable response to chronic stress in your environment, which means the solution has to be environmental too. So the researchers Maslach and Leiter, they really nailed it down to these 6 key areas. And they found that when there's a serious long-term mismatch between you and your job in any of these areas, boom, your risk of burnout just skyrockets. It's kind of like trying to run the latest software on a really old, incompatible computer. For a while, it might sputter along, but eventually, the whole system is just going to crash. And that understanding leads us straight to a 2-part solution. See, it's not an either-or situation. To really, truly tackle burnout, we need action on both sides. On the individual level, where we build our own defenses, and on the organizational level, where they fix the systems that cause it in the first place. Now, while the ultimate responsibility really does lie with the organization, you are not powerless here. You can build personal practices and create toolkits that act as a buffer, helping you manage your own energy and recover from that daily grind. I love this quote from author Natalie Kogan. You can't give what you don't have. It's so true. Fueling your own energy isn't selfish at all. It's actually a prerequisite for being effective and present in your work and, in your life. Prioritizing your well-being is what allows you to show up for everybody else. The absolute key to setting boundaries is to be intentional about it. Happiness expert Gretchen Rubin even recommends scheduling unstructured time. It might sound like a total contradiction, but trust me, if you don't actively protect your time for rest, it will just get eaten up by other demands. Think of these boundaries as your first line of defense. And recovery, it isn't just about sitting on the couch. It's an active process. Research from the book Burnout While Working actually confirms that physical activity is a major recovery-enhancing activity. And as neuroscientist Matt Walker points out, quality sleep is basically like hitting the save button on your brain. It helps imprint memories and recharge your mental batteries for the next day. Okay, let's talk about the organization's role. Because all those individual strategies we just talked about, they're important for sure, but they're kind of like having a really good raincoat in the middle of a hurricane. It helps, but what you really need is for the storm to stop, right? And that's exactly why real, lasting change has to come from the organizations themselves. They've got to address the root causes of burnout at the systemic level. This really shows us the organization's true role: to design a workplace that actually fits human needs. It means making sure things are fair, fostering a real sense of community, and giving employees control, which, by the way, research shows is a fundamental buffer against stress. It's all about building a better system, not just demanding more resilience from individuals.
All right, let's bring this all together. Instead of looking at burnout as some kind of personal failure or dead end, we can reframe it. We can see it as something way more powerful, a signal.
At the end of the day, this is it. Burnout is your body, your nervous system, and your mind sending you a very clear, very urgent message. It's an alarm bell, and it is ringing loudly. It's telling you that the current situation, whether it's the workload, the lack of control, the value conflicts, is simply unsustainable. And that, right there, is the question I want to leave you with. This signal is an invitation. It's an invitation to reassess your own boundaries, to start advocating for a healthier work environment, and to open up a conversation about redesigning work to be more human-centric. It's a catalyst for building a better way to work for all of us.
Now, if you want to explore this topic even more, the insights and data in these sources are incredible. They offer a fantastic deep dive into the research we've touched on today, from those 6 mismatches to the impact of all the recent global shifts in how we work.
Thank you so much for watching. Your engagement really helps us continue to make these complex topics clear. And hey, sharing this explainer might just help create more supportive and sustainable workplaces for everyone.